彼はいつもはどんなピック使ってるんですか？
What type of picks do you usually use?
I usually use mediums. I usually get the kind. I have. I'm not sure what. There's no brands. This is Quiet Riot on them, stamped in on them.
Who makes those for you?
I really don't know. There's a company in LA and there's a company in Detroit also. Wherever I may be, on the road. Depends on if I run out of them. My roadie orders them for me. So.
Is that right?
Yeah.
ミディアムのもの使ってるんだけどね、それどこのものかって聞いてみたらね、どっかの会社がね、クワイエットライアットなそのロゴをね、印刷してね、作ってるんだけど、どこの会社だかわかんない。ローディーのやつがね、いつも提案してくれるから。
今持ってないのかな？
You don't have anything on you right now?
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, I think I ran out of them in our last leg in the States, and I have just Fender mediums here.
アメリカで一番最後のツアーでね、気がしてしまって、今フェンダーのミディアムのものを使ってる。
ミディアムにしてる人が特に何か、なんていうんだろう、決めてる理由っていうのはあるのかな？
Any reason for sticking to mediums in particular?
Yeah, I prefer the mediums because the thins are too thin and they tend to break. Heavies are a little too thick and they tend to bust strings more often. So the medium, it seems to be just right for me, for my style.
薄いやつだとね、こうすぐ割れてしまうし、で、シックなやつを使うとね、その弦がね、切れてしまうから、それでミディアムがまあちょうどいいぐらいで。
でもやっぱりピッキングはかなり強い方だと思います、自分で。
Did you pick pretty hard yourself, right?
Yeah, some things are hard, some are soft, depending on what I'm doing.
それ曲によるけど、まあどっちかというと力を入れる方でしょう。
弦はどのぐらいの太さ？
How about the gauge your strings?
9 gauge.
低い方は？
How about the lower strings?
42 and 32, 24, 16, 11, 9.
メーカーは決めてるの？
How about the brand?
I use Dean Markley right now. I've been using.
それは特にやっぱり理由はあるわけ？
Any special reason for Dean Markley's?
Oh, I had an endorsement with them, and I'd been using their strings. And they seem to work pretty good, and so I got an endorsement with them. I've been using their stuff.
契約を結んだもんでね、それで使ってみたらなかなかいいなと思って、それでずっと使い続けてきた。
他の機材は何か特別変えて持ってきたものってあるんですか、日本に？
How about any other equipment, other things you use? Like equipment?
Stage gear.
Yeah.
I use Nady wireless systems. I got 2 systems.
How do you spell the Nady?
Nady, and they go to a AV box, and the AV box goes to a effects rack, and then in my effects racks I have flanger, chorus, delay, 10-band MXR equalizer, Zeus distortion, and
What kind of distortion?
Zeus Z-E-U-S, yeah, like the big god Zeus. And which the company went out of business. It is a California company. They don't no longer manufacture anything anymore. Then I use let me see what else is in there. That's about it, I think. And the delay, I said the delay.
Do you use any special brands of effects?
The effects I'm using right now are, let me see, I have MXR, I use a harmonizer too, MXR harmonizer, and I have equalizers MXR, the delay is MXR also, and I use a Ibanez effects, like a chorus and flanging is Ibanez. And that goes to, let me see, that goes to a junction box, and the junction box hooks up 4 stacks of Marshall cabinets. And I usually tour with about 6 heads and 4 stacks of cabinets. I maybe use live 3 heads hooked together, 100-watt heads, modified with EL34 tubes.
AV ボックスでどういうふうに切り替えるのかな？2つのラインに分け、一番頭のところ。
How about switching the AV box? What do you use for that?
Oh, I have both wireless systems hooked to the AV box. So what that does is I'll have like 2 guitars will be on a different frequency and 2 other guitars will be on a different frequency, and then that's when I do guitar change. My radio just hit the switch and I'll automatically go to the other guitar. I just change guitars real fast instead of having unplugged chords and stuff like that.
So like you use a total of 4 guitars then?
Yeah, I usually live about 3 or 4.
And
up to
2
4.
on each frequency?
Yeah,
on the AV box.
yeah. So like I have it situated so like the guitar I change first is on a different frequency, and then the 3rd guitar changes on this frequency, and the 4th is on that frequency, and then so on and so on. So I never interfere with the other. And And I can also, my AV box, I got these new AV box, I got MXR mix, I can't remember now, but it's got A, B, and A plus B, so I can have two guitars working at the same time. That's kind of neat, you know. It's a new invention.
ギターを変えるためのボックスな。
そうそうそう、その AV ボックスをね、そのなんていうのかな、こう AV ボックスっていうのがあって、その MXR で作ってるんですけども、その A、B、それから A プラス B というその3つの周波をね、こう受けることができるんですよね。で、ローディがね、それを切り替えるわけですよ。ギターを切り替えると。
じゃあ、他のエフェクトね、フランジャーとかコーラスとかハーモナイザー、そういうものに対しては、ギターから直接にザーッと流れていくわけで、アンプまで。
そうそうそうそう、一応ここに書いてあるんですけど、説明しましょうか。
いや、わかりますけど、そういうふうになってて、じゃあ、例えばディレイとダイレクトを分けたりすることはしてないの？
Like you run the delay goes through everything as well, or do you run it separately?
Yeah, right now I have my whole complete setup all wet with all the effects. But what I want to do is I want to start running stereo, like having one side of my system dry, nothing, just straight, and the other side with the effect. Because with the harmonizer I'm using right now, you gotta almost have like a stereo sound to get the harmonizer sound right.
What do you mean by wet and dry? I don't quite follow you.
Wet would be all the effects, you know, yeah, either with or without, and then dry would just be the straight amp sound.
And that's what you're thinking of doing, but you haven't done yet.
Because some players do that. They have like they use two amplifiers. One amplifier just straight, dry, no effects, and the other amplifier with the effects, and either on or off, you know, the effects. That way you get more of a stereo blend. Like I say, you get a chorus, and you're playing real quietly. You hear the chorus coming out of that side and straight out of this. So it's almost like a stereo balance type effect.
そういうワットとドライは分かります。
で、アンプは各その、ドライなサウンドと、エフェクトをかけてるサウンドと何台ずつなの？
エフェクトですか？
エフェクトをかけてるのと、かけてない方とアンプは何台ずつなんですか？
あ、それまずドライはやってないんです。これからやろうと思ってるんですよ。
じゃあ今のところは全部いっぺんに
ウェット。
アンプは何台してるんですか？
アンプはですね、you used what? You aren't using 2 amps yet, but you're thinking of doing.
No, I use actually I'm using like 3 to 4 amps live, but they're all hooked up with the effects. So if I put on my delay, all of them have delay.
マーシャルをね4つ使ってて、まあ大体ライブではまあ3台か4台ぐらい使ってるんだけども、それ一応全部エフェクトが通ってるんで、これからね分けようと思ってるんです。
Coca-Cola was fine, yeah. But I want to start hooking like 2 up on one side and 2 on the other side, and then have some dry, some wet, you know. Then that way you get a stereo effect.
これから2台ずつ分けて、それで片方にドライで片方にウェットっていう。
マーシャルアンプはホセアルダントってしてもらってるそうだけど、どんな内容のカスタマイズなの
？How is it custom? You explained a second ago that it was customized with some sort of tubes. How?
It's actually the EL34 tube is made in America, but it's the equivalent of the original English tube which came in them. I used the early 70s, late 60s amplifiers, Marshalls 100 watts, because they sound better. The newer Marshalls, I really didn't like the sound. I can never get a good sound out of them. The older ones have more of the old sound, which I'm into. And what Jose does is he'll put the EL34 tubes in, and they burn hotter than the 6550s, which the new ones have, Americanized tube. And the hotter they burn, the better the amp sounds, because it heats up the resistors and stuff.
What are the names of the new tubes?
EL34 or 6CA7.
These are the ones that burn harder, the EL34.
Hotter, yeah.
And then what are the ones?
The 6550s are they started putting those in the Marshall amps because they require less maintenance, you know, and they can put a warranty on the head and everything. But they don't sound as good. They're so really hollow sound. But to put the EL34 tubes in a newer head, you have to have some of the insides changed around a bit, like some of the resistors changed, and equalization and bias changed.
わかりましたかな？そのチューブをね、
おおむねは
書いたんです。いや、EL34 チューブにね、なぜかというと、それが非常に熱くなっちゃうわけですよ。で、熱くなるにつれて、その音も良くなるわけですよ。で、だからそのマーシャルがこの65-50にね、切り替えたわけですよ。あまり熱くならないから、その手入れが簡単で、整備が非常にしやすいんで、しかも保証ができるわけですよ。それで、要するに持つわけですよ。この60-50で。しかしその音はあまり良くない。だから60年代の、後期のものと、70年代の、まあ初め頃の、マーシャルが一番、音はいいんですけどね。
プリアンプを加えたりはしてないのか。
How about preamps? Do you use those on the?
No, I'm not using those now. The ones I have now are just no master volume, just straight volume. Not the newer types have master volume. I just find those too noisy for my setup.
マスターボリュームがついてないんですけどね。マスターボリューム作るとなんかこう音が非常にノイジーになったりするから、それは嫌なんだ。
イコライジングを変えてあるって話だけど、大体一般のに比べたらどんな感じなんだろう。そのベースが強いとか高音が強いとか。
How about the equalizer? You said you're using a
Yeah, MXR 10 band.
10 band. What does that do for you?
What I usually do is boost my upper middle, like around 1K and 5K, because it gives you more of a bite to your leads, and it gives you more of your sound cuts through a little better. Like let's say the band is like straight, I guess I'll boost the upper middle like right around there, just boost like 1 and 5K, and sometimes I need more high end, because the Marshall equalization sounds terrible. It's not no good. Like you can turn the bass up, no difference, don't notice any difference. So with a graphic equalizer, you got more EQ choices.
マーシャルのやつはね、ほとんど効果がないわけよ。上げてもね、その低音が非常に大きくなるんだけど、それだけなんだけども、だいたい僕はその 1K ないし 5K のところをこう上げてソロの時に使ってるけども、それでソロの音が非常に目立つわけです。
今ホゼ・アルダントって人が非常にいろんなバンヘイレンとかジェイク・イーリーとかのギタリストアンプを直してるそうだけど、その程度の改造しかしないのか。
The fellow mentioned who redid your amp.
Jose, yeah.
Yeah, Jose, he's done Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, he does a lot of people.
And Jake Healy as well.
Right.
Is that about all he does on the amp?
He does different things for different people. This is particularly what I like done to my personal stuff. I really don't know what they have done to their stuff. Probably basically the same, but he may do a few tricks that they know of that I don't know of, or I may do a few tricks I know they don't know of. Depends on a personal, on the person, I think.
大体その注文に応じてね、何度もやるみたいなんだけども、彼らは何してもらったかわかんない。
スピーカーはアルテックを確か使ってるんだと思うんだけど、それやっぱ好きなわけか。
You use Altec speakers.
Yeah, I use a combination of Schlesian and Altec.
Schlesian?
Yeah, Schlesian, which is a Marshall speaker. And what I do that for is I got my two outer bottoms with Altecs. Thank you. And my tops and my middle bottom with Celestian. That way, like certain big arenas we go to, whichever one sounds better, the sound technician outside will use more of. Like for instance, sometimes we'll go places and the Celestians will happen to sound better in that particular room, and so he'll use more of the Celestian for volume. And then sometimes so Altecs will sound better for that particular room, and so he'll use more of the Altecs.
アルテックとスレッシンっていうのを使ってる。スレッシンはそのマウスにもともとついてるやつですけどもね、その場所によってね、それぞれのスピーカーがなんていうのかな、よく聞こえるっていうかね、音が良くなるんだけども、それによってミキサーがこう使い分けてるわけですよ。例えばスレッションの方が音が良ければその場所ではその音を上げたりして。
レコードのサウンドを聞いてると、ものすごいハードなサウンドだから、よくスピーカーを取り替えるように思うんだけど、実際どうなんだろう。
スピーカー取り替え
だからすんの早くダメになっちゃうから、よく取り替えるんじゃないかなと思うんだ。
He gets the impression from the records that you must do a lot of changing of the speakers.
On the records? Not really. What I do is I'll use like a Stratocaster. I think for the clean sounds I'll use a Strat Direct, and then for the heavy sounds I'll use the Marshalls, and I also use a PV amp, also a small amp, and I use that for a lot of presence because you get a lot of good presence out of a small amp. It's just cleaner than the big Marshalls, for loud. So I balance the sound. We'll have one track with the PV amp, and then I have 2 tracks with the Marshalls. Then we'll blend them just right, to get the right sound.
Oh, you mean you mix the tracks together? Then?
Yeah, because sometimes I even use that live. So I use a small amp set up behind my amps, because you can get a lot of presence off a small amp, and the Marshalls are more ambient, than like.
レコードに関して言えばね、非常にクリーンな音を出してると思うんだけども、それはストラットをダイレクトに使ってるから、それにね、レコードではマーシャルと PV、を使い分けてるんだけども、その 例えば一つのトラックを PV で使ったら、この次のトラックを回しを使ってみて、それで最後にその2つのトラックをブレンドしてみて、でステージでもね時々 PV を使うけども、なぜ PV かっていうとそのプレゼンスが非常にいいんですよね。そういうねのついてるんですよね、プレゼンス。それが非常になんていうの気に入ってる、そういうところが。
スピーカーよく飛ばしますか？
Do you blow your speakers that much?
Not really. Actually, in '83 when we did the Mental Health Tour, I had more problems with my amps than on the Condition Critical Tour. I had no problems this year. So,
Why did you have more trouble on 83?
I really don't know. Just bad luck, I guess. It happens. You know, I've seen a lot of players that have bad luck with their gear. It could happen so easy. I think maybe because we didn't have my system, completely all the bugs out of it. You know, now I do. So.
その83年ツアーの時ね、もうしょっちゅう飛ばしてしまったけどね、ちょっと原因は分かんないけどね、やっぱり自分のシステムにあまり慣れてなくて、まだうまく使いこなせなかったせいかもしれないけども、今度のツアーはもうほとんど飛ばしたことなくて、大変ラッキーだった。
パールっていう日本のメーカーのエンドースメントもしてるみたいなんだけど、実際ステージとかでは使わないのかな？
You apparently endorse Pearl?
The drummer, and I do somewhat. I use some of their stuff. I have
On stage, actually?
Yeah. At one point, I did use a phase shifter on stage. I don't use it right now at the current moment. I don't.
一時はね、フェイスシフターを使ってたんだけども、今使ってない。
じゃああんまり広告の写真の感じじゃないわけだ。
So it's not like it's in the ads then. You don't perform as your picture in the ads.
Pearl? I haven't seen no Pearl ads. Are they here in Japan?
I suppose so, yeah.
I haven't seen them in America.
Yeah.
I have before, not all the time, not 100% of the time, maybe 20, 30, 40.
まあ今使ってないけど、前使ってたけど、10回のうち3、4回使ってんじゃないかな。でその広告をまだ見てない。アメリカでは見てない。
やばい。じゃあ、ギターは何をメインに使うんですか？2本一応切り替えるって話。
You talked about like using different guitars. What are your main axes right
now? On this Japanese show, I'll be using on Gibson. My favorites are Gibson and Jackson Charvel.
Jackson Charvel?
Yeah. That's basically all I use. The Washburn, I really don't endorse Washburn that much anymore at all.
Oh really? Why is that?
Yeah, I just don't really like the products too much as I used to.
What is that? Because it changed the music?
Yeah, probably. I think when we were first starting out, I endorsed them because I liked it, and also it would help promote the band and promote them, and I could get some gear out of it, you know. But they're good guitars, but I prefer Gibson and Jackson.
ギブソンとジャクソンシャーベル使ってるんだけど、前はね、ワーシュバンを使ってたんですけども、なぜかというと、そのエンドースメントしてたわけですよね。で、そういうことによって機材も立ててもらえたし、で、ワーシュバンのためにもなったし、しかし、いいギターって言えばいいギターですけども、今はなんていうかな、あまり使う理由はないっていうか、ギブソンとジャクソンの方が、はるかにいいっていうか。
ギブソンはフライング V をメインにするわけです。
You mean use the Flying V then?
Yeah, right now on the Japanese tour I only bought 2 guitars. I was only able to bring 2. I have a Gibson Les Paul Gold Top and a Gibson Flying V, the white one that I don't have. There's no picture of it here. Oh, that one right there. Yeah.
ゴールドトップは古いものかな？
Did you buy an old gold top?
No, it's a reissue, 1982 reissue of the original. It's great. It sounds really good. I couldn't believe it. Great sounding guitar.
ピックアップはやっぱりDiMarzioにしてんのかな？
And you use a DiMarzio?
Yeah, DiMarzio pickup. Except for the Gibson Gold Top, I have the stock pickup because it sounded so good. I left it alone, you know. I'm not going to touch it. The white Flying V here is all DiMarzio and all the rest of them. And that one too.
新しいパックってパテントアプライド4って呼ばれてるピックアップかな？
Is that the one how about the pickup on that one?
On the Gold Top?
Yeah.
That's a stock Gibson pickup.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
She said something about a patent applied one?
Oh, I'm not sure. It must be. I think it might be PAF in there. They must have put it in there, yeah.
まあそうじゃない。
今はこれはDiMarzioのこれスーパー2つけてるのかな？
You using Super 2 on this one?
Yeah. I deal with Larry DiMarzio and Steve Blucher of DiMarzio, and they give me pickups that look like the Super 2, but they're custom wound inside. I asked for a little more mid-range or a little more low-end, and they'll wind them custom wind them for me.
このフライング V はこれはいつ手に入れた？何年頃？
About when did you buy this one?
This guitar, it's a long story how I got that guitar. I was in Denver, Colorado. We're playing Red Rocks out there, and some kid came down to the concert. Goes, I want you to try out my guitar, and I go, okay. So he showed me a couple of his guitars. I liked that white Flying V, and so I took it to the concert that night. And I used it, and I liked it so much. I want this guitar, and he goes, I want a Jackson Flying V. So I got him a Jackson Flying V when we traded. And
how'd you meet this kid? He just came up to you?
He was in a hotel. He came down to the hotel to get an autograph. He's a nice guy. I became friends with him. I still am friends with him. And we made a trade. And he gave me the guitar, that day, and I kept it. And he didn't get his guitar for a couple months after because it was being custom made, for him. Because I'm able to get Jackson guitars for real cheap, So I got him one, and he gave me, because I like the Gibson V so much. It's one of my favorite guitars now. I love it.
Is that right?
And so I've been using it ever since. I got it in '83, it must have been summer of '83.
Is that right?
Yeah.
83年の夏の話ですけどね、コロラドのレッドロックスでコンサートやってた時ね、コンサートやってからホテルに戻って、それでファンがね、サインを求めてね、ホテルに来たんだって。で、そのファンと会ったらね、えらくその彼のギターを気に入ってね、ぜひそのジャクソンのフライング V を欲しいっていう、それで自分のギターを持ってきてて、このギターだったんですよね。で、これはあんたにあげるからね、ジャクソンのフライング V をぜひ僕のためにね、買ってくれって言ってね。それで彼がそのファンのギターを非常に気に入ってね、じゃあいいよ。で、彼がそのジャクソンのギターを非常に安く手に入れることができるから、わざわざ特注を、頼んで、作ってもらったんですけどね。それでこれか。紅茶コーヒー。紅茶はいただきますか？
インレイっていうポジションマークがこれ四角い形でね、非常に珍しいと思うんだけど、それは知ってたから珍しいってこと？
It's kind of unusual to find square inlay like that.
Yeah, they made very few of those. I've only seen like one or two other musicians that have those. I think the guy in what's the name of that band? Anvil or something like that. Axe or I seen Saxon. The guy has a guitar just like that. I couldn't believe it because they only made very few of those. It's like early '70s and they made very few, a couple hundred of them. They're collector's item, I believe. That block inlay, yeah, on the neck. Most of them is dots, yeah.
限定製造で非常に少ないんだけども、そのサックスのやつは持ってて非常にびっくりして。
サクソンのやつが彼が持ってるのを見てびっくりした。
いや、その彼がそのサックスのやつが弾いてるのを見たら、あれもう他にあったのかってね。
サクソンのやつとマイケル・シェンカーと彼だけだって。
He's only seen Michael Schenker, the guy in Saxon, and you.
Yeah, and then there's one other guy, I think, what's the name of that band that sings Balls to the Wall? What band is that?
Balls to the Wall?
Yeah, we did a show with them. Wolf.
Balls to the Wall.
Who sings that?
いや他にねもう一人いるんだけども、そのバンドの名前はね思い出せないんだけど、ボールズ・トゥ・ザ・ウォールっていう曲をやってて、
the
guitar player in that band, I think they're a German band. I can't remember the name of them.
ドイツのバンドだけども、そのクワイエット・ライブの前座やったことあるでしょ。
I think he's had one too. Very few though, not many people at all.
彼マイケル・シェンカーのファンだったそうだけど、同じギターを持ってるのは嬉しいから。
You're apparently a fan of Michael Schenker.
Oh yeah,
happy to have the same kind of guitar he.
Oh definitely, yeah. Oh yeah. Tape right now.
Yeah. What?
ディマジョのピックアップに関して言うと、そういうふうに、彼なりのものにカスタマイズしてくれるって点が一番気に入ってるのかな。ディマジョのピックアップ。
You like DeMarzo's best because they will customize it.
Yeah, I've liked DeMarzo. As soon as I tried, actually, when that kid gave me that guitar, it had a DeMarzo in it. It sounded so good with my setup, I started using all DeMarzo. Then I got landed endorsement with them. So actually, all my guitars have the DeMarzos except for that gold top that I have. I just recently bought, like in New York, 2 months ago.
そのファンからギターをもらった時にディマージオがついてて、初めての経験でした。ディマージオで使ってみたらなかなか良かったんで、あれからずっとディマージオを使ってきたんですけども、それでその後ディマージオとエンドースメント契約を結んだと。じゃあこのすみません。でそのゴールドトップのレスポールっていうのはついてなかった。 今
でまあそのギブソンそのものを使ってる。
そうそうそう。
やっぱディストーションの強めのサウンドが彼は好みなんですね。
You tend to prefer like sort of distorted tones, right?
Oh yeah, I use a distortion box. The rhythm sound is basically the same without distortion, but when you go into a lead, you get more of a sting and a bite with distortion. It's more sustained. I like that better.
普通に使えばね、それなりのディストーションが出るけども、ソロの時やっぱり特別にね、ディストーションかけないと、なかなかそのなんていうのかな、好みの音は出ないけどね。
マーシャルのボリュームはいくつぐらいにしてるの？
But how much do you set the volume at on your
Marshall's like it depends on where I'm at. Usually like 8 to 10 full on. 12.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
なるほどね。そうなんだ。あともう一個アームのついたフライング V も持ってますよね。
And you have a flying with an arm on it too.
Yeah, I got a couple of guitars with vibrato bars. Right now on the Japanese tour, none of them have no vibrato bars.
今度は持ってきてないけどね。
じゃあアーム付きのギターは何か持ってきてないのか
いや、持ってきてない今度。
な。いやフライング V に限らず。
But none of your guitars this time have arms on them.
No, I only got the two that don't have it here.
それがついてない。
そうなんだ。じゃあ今回はアーミングのプレイは一切しないっていう
So we won't see you using it arms at all in this time.
No, not here, not here.
そうなんだ。それは何か特別に気が変わったことってあるのかな。
Is there any reason why you changed your mind about that?
At the time when I decided to take the guitar, which guitar, I can only have a choice of two. I just chose those two because they're my favorites. Even though I don't have a tremolo bar.
いや、あんまり聞いてなくてもね、その持ってきたやつが一番気に入ってるギターだから、それで持ってきた。
じゃあもともとあんまりどうしてもアームがないと例えば、ジミー・ヘンドリックスとかブラッド・ギルスやアームがないとギタープレイができないって感じでしょ、で彼はそういう気持ちはないんだ全然。
You get guys like, Jimi Hendrix used to be this way, but like Brad Gillis of Night Range won't play without an arm. But you're just not that type of guitar player.
Yeah, I would play either with or without. It's I like either way.
いや、あってもなくても別に同じじゃない。自分の場合は。
いやでもなんかトリッキーなプレイができなくて寂しいんじゃないか。
But you won't be able to do any special tricks in it.
I do special tricks without it.
あんなってもそういうことできるよ。一応。
なるほど。クラシックの曲をいろいろすごいオープンステージで練習してるそうなんだけど、ステージでもやるのかな。
You probably practice a lot of classical stuff, like off stage. You ever try any of that stuff on stage?
Oh yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, in my guitar solo, I do Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring.
What's that?
Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring by Bach. I play that in my solo. It's stuck in there somewhere.
ステージでもね、その中でそのバッハの曲を取り入れたりして、一応活用してるけどね。
You'll be hearing it if you guys go to the concert.
What song is that? And what song do you play that with?
In my solo, guitar solo.
And the name of the Riot song is the name of the actual song itself. You perform that on.
It's in my guitar solo. I'm by myself.
Oh, I see.
I just rip through it in a certain section.
Oh, I see. I
do a couple of classical things in my solo. Actually, some I wrote and then that one Bach thing.
Are those like in between songs? You mean?
No, the band leaves the stage and I'm by myself.
Is that right?
Yeah, I could do about a 5-minute solo.
Is that right? Is that right?
それはエレクトリックギターのままでやるのかな。
You just do it on electric guitar?
Yeah. I do a couple classical things that I wrote myself and then the Bach thing, along with some good loud stuff.
自分のオリジナルのクラシックのナンバーも一応一人でやるそうだ。
よくクラシックブーレをやる人がいるけど。
A lot of people do Bure, I guess it is.
Yeah, Bure, right? That's a big song.
Yeah, you never tried that one, I said.
No. I know how to play that though. I studied nylon sing at home though. I like classical stuff. I really like a lot of classical stuff.
自分のうちでガットでね、弾いたりするけどね、でもステージでやったことないけどね。クラシックは大好きだけど。
I would like to pursue a classical career like when I get older. Like,
is that right?
Yeah, 50, 60, when I'm too old to rock and roll.
ロックンロールができなくなったらぜひクラシックのミュージシャンになりたいと思ってるけどね。
ブーレじゃ優しすぎるのかな、彼にとっては。
Is it too simple like Bure?
No, classical music is much harder than rock. Much harder.
Yeah, そんな。
Because it requires much more discipline. Excuse me. Much more discipline, definitely.
はるかに訓練が必要だからね。クラシックの方はロックよりもはるかに難しいし、ブレだって難しい。
Because rock and roll, you drink and go on stage. And classical, no. You get it.
どなられてもロックンロールできるからね、クラシックはそうはいかない。
You drink sake before you play, you know, when rocking.
ホテルに必ずクラシックギター置いてたりするのかな？
Do you always keep a classical guitar with you, like when you're on?
Yes, I do. I couldn't bring one here because we're only going to be for 2 weeks, and or actually less than that, 10 days. And it's just to lug it around, and you know, the airplane. Usually in America, I travel with electric and a classical, and I take them both in my room all the time. And whichever I feel like playing, I'll pick up. And at home, I have a few in my home. I got a guitar room with all my guitars, music room.
向こうでツアーするときにね、ギターもそのクラシックギターを両方ね、携帯するんだけども、日本はほら滞在期間はもうほんの10日間だから、まあ面倒くさいと思って持ってこなかったんだけど。
そりゃそうね。ガットギターは特にこう好きなものっていうのはあるのかな？例えばラミレスとか。
Do you have any classical guitars you prefer? Like
What types?
Yeah, like
the best types are like from Spain. There's some that cost like thousands of dollars, $3,000 and $4,000. My best one that I own is a Japanese model. Actually, it's Alvarez, which is made in Japan here.
Sure, yeah.
And it's a really good. It's like worth about $800 to $1,000.
Is that right?
Yeah, I picked it up in the East Coast somewhere.
最もいいやつはやっぱりスペイン製のもので、まあ3、4千ドルぐらいするんだけども、彼に一番ベストなギターっていうと、その日本製のアルバレーズの、まあ高価なものだけど、それが一番持ってるカットの中で一番いいと。
The best ones though do come from Spain. Like they're like $3,000-4,000.
Any special brands or the ones from Spain?
There's some of them are handmade and they're like a couple hundred made a year. I don't remember there's one guy that makes. I don't know the names of them though. There's so many of them.
特定っていうかね、その銘柄名にはないんだけどね、その要するに手作りのギターが例えばこう年に200台とかね、そのぐらいしか作ってないそのギターメーカーいるんですけども、その名前は分かんないけど。
次のアルバムあたりでは、Quiet Riot のアルバムにもそういうソロが入るのかな？
Will be hearing any of those solos of your own, like on future Quiet Riot records? Or is that just a stage thing?
There was a solo on the first album, Mental Health album. The second album, I was going to put a classical guitar piece, but it didn't really fit in with the concept of the album, so it didn't go on. Maybe on the next album or a future album, I might put another lead solo or a classical piece.
Spanish as one of those Spanish fly type of flashy things, or more of a classical, real classical?
Not kind of in between the both. Yeah.
一番のレコードに入ったけどね、彼のソロが。Were you playing a classical guitar on the first album, on the solo one?
No, that was electric.
Oh, that was electric.
Yeah.
まあそれ次のレコードでやろうかなと思ったんだけども、そのレコードのコンセプトにちょっと反したんで、それでまあどういうスパニッシュフライみたいなやつかなって聞いてみたら、いやそうじゃないって、なんていうの、普通のオーソドックスのクラシックと、まあ、スパニッシュフライのまあ中間ぐらいかな。
なるほど。それから、今までだとフライング V とかね、SG とかああいう薄いギター使ってて、で今度このレスポールって厚いギターで、それで重さとか違うと思うんだけど。随分気分変わったんじゃないか。
How about the weights, like the various guitars you've had? Does that change, like your playing or how you feel?
How heavy they are? Yeah, it could change your style. I think maybe a little bit, not much. I myself prefer lighter guitars, maybe like the Flying V. There is much lighter than the Les Paul. Les Pauls tend to be real heavy, but if you play a Les Paul all night, you know, after a while. Starts hurting your shoulder.
どっちかというと軽量のギターが好きなんだけども、要するに肩がね痛くなっちゃうからね、レスポールだと。
でもやっぱりレスポールの方がサウンドがヘビーでベターなんじゃないかな。
But wouldn't Les Paul be better because the heavier sound?
I don't know. It's a different type of a sound. Yeah, probably overall Les Paul would be a better sound because of the weight. Supposedly the heavier the guitar, the better, but I mean it couldn't be too heavy. You know, I really don't know. They say so. They say I saw it.
話では重ければ重いほどギターの音がいいって言うんだけども、なんか全体的にポールの方がいいかもしれないんだけど、まあどうだろうね。場合によるんじゃないかな。
ジャクソンもやっぱりフライング V の形のやつで。
And the Jackson you have is a Flying V, right?
Yeah.
前に話聞いたんだけど、全くのギブソンのフライング V スタイルのやつなんですよね。
It's just exactly like a Gibson Flying V, right?
Similar. Yeah, not exactly.
似てはいるけど少し違うわけど。
それもアームがついてないわけだ。
何が？
アームがやっぱりついてない。
That's armless as well.
No, tremolo bar. Floyd Rose.
フロイド・ローズの。
フロイド・ローズがついてる。それには。そうだ。ケイラーと試したことありますか？比較し したことありますか？フロイド・ローズとケイラー。
Have you ever compared like the Floyd Rose and the?
Yeah, I prefer Floyd Rose better than Kaler for some reason. At least the ones that I tried, I didn't like that much.
What's wrong with the Kaler?
There seemed to be the action was weird. To tell you the truth, I prefer the original Fender ones over all of them. They don't stay in tune as good, but the action is so good on them.
But I thought Fenders were good because they do stay in tune.
Well, they can't stay in tune if you set them up just perfectly right. If they're not set up right, they will knock out of tune. But actually, I prefer the Fender ones the best of all. I have one guitar with a Fender unit, which is a Telecaster, Charvel Telecaster. Then I got the Jackson with a Floyd Rose, and I got a Gibson with a Floyd Rose.
I see. ケイラーっていうのはね、すぐこう、弦高がねおかしいって、ケイラーをつけると弦高っていうのかな、その高さ弦の。それでね、フェンダーのまあどっちかというとフェンダーの方が一番いいんだけども。音はすぐ狂ってしまう。で、僕が聞いてみたんだけど、いや、フェンダーの場合はその音が狂わないっていうのは特徴だと思ったんだけど、それは取り付け方によるっていうんだけど、それで彼のギターではそのシャベルのテレカスタにフェンダーのアームを使ってるんだけども、それでジャクソンとギブソンにそのフロイド・ローズをつけてる。
あのテレキャスターはもう使わないのかな、
You aren't going to use that Telecaster that much though?
No, I actually don't use it at all anymore. There's been a lot. I used to use it at the beginning of when we first started with Quiet Riot. That black one's been in a lot of pictures. I've seen it. I don't use it that much anymore. It's at home at my house.
What's the problem? Why don't you?
It's just I've used that guitar for so long. I got tired, and I got other new ones I'd rather use.
Quiet Riot の初期の頃、もうその黒いテレカストばっかり使ってたんだけど、なんか飽きちゃって、それでもっといいギターを買ったし、別に今使う必要は今ない。
ギブソンとジャクソンのフライング V やっぱりサウンドは違います。
The sounds of the Gibson flying V and the Jackson flying V be that different?
Yeah. Every guitar sounds different. I think it's just a matter of what the wood or it's a weird.
Design has riddles.
Like you could have two white flying V's made by Gibson. They both sound different. It's just I don't know. It's just like two cars run different.
What do you think makes sounds that different? Like what's the combination?
The density of the wood, just the type, the pickup. I really don't know. It's hard to say. It really is weird. I don't understand it myself that much.
全く同じ型でもね、音が変わるんだよね。ギターっていうのはそのもんだ。でその例えばキーのなんていうのかな、その木質っていうのかな、キーの質のね密度がこう濃かったり。すると音が全く変わってしまったり、とにかくもう同じギターでもね全く違う音が出るんだよ。
ディマジョのピックアップの中でXN って言ってものすごくヘビーなやつがあるけど、それなんか使ったことないかも。
ディマジョの XN。
X2N。
X2N。You ever heard that one, the X2N of the DiMarzio?
Oh yeah,
heavy
yeah.
Pickup. You ever tried that?
Yeah, I have. It's got a straight bar. Yeah, I have tried that. In fact. My Telecaster has one of those pickups in the rhythm side.
Is that right?
Yeah, it seemed to have a little bit too much output. Sometimes if a pickup has too much output, at least with the system I'm using, my rig, if it's got too much output, it'll be a little too muddy sounding. So I gotta have a pickup not too much output, and then it sounds cleaner.
使ったことあるんだけどね、こうすごい敏感っていうかね、そのアウトプットがもう強烈でね、で彼のシステムではそれだけのアウトプットが出るともう音がめちゃくちゃね濁ってしまうから、だから使うのをやめた。
で今のところはディマジョの中でも例のスーパー2が一番気に入ってるわけです。
So you like the Super 2 the best?
Yeah.
それでさっきのピックアップですけど、そのテレキャスについて、そのリズムとか。
それからちょっと話は変わりまして、3枚目のアルバムっていう感じなんですけど、なんか具体的にもう始まってるんですか？
Have you already started work on the third album then?
No. Oh yeah, we got songs written. Yeah, definitely a lot of songs written. I've been writing all year on the road. I usually travel with a ghetto blaster, with two speakers, and I'll just be sitting around my room playing my guitar, and I'll come up with an idea for a little riff for a song. I'll just push play and record it down, and I got a whole log of tapes of parts, and at the end of the year me and Kevin will get together and we'll make songs out of them. I've been writing all year, last year and this year too.
実際のレコーディングの作業には入ってないんだけども、その記憶はもう作ってあるけどね。でも年がら年中そのラジカセをね携帯してて、それでこう 時々ギター弾いたりするとなんていうのかなフレーズっていうかリフがこう浮かんでしまうからそれをこうすぐにこう取っとくそれで後でケビンと一緒にこう曲っていう形にするんですけど
前のインタビューで、サードアルバムでは多分、カバーバージョンみたいなのはやらないだろうってことだったんだけどやっぱりそういう予定はないですかなんかやりたくなった曲なんかないかな
Do you have any plans to do another cover for the third album?
No, the next album will be all our own music.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
いやカバーはやらないね。
何か特別こう傾向を変えてみたいとかいう計画はあるの
Do you have any plans to like change your style or change the technique?
No, it'll basically still be rock, but I think we're going to change our direction as far as rhythms. The sounds will be the same, but I think we're going to get into more rhythmy things, more soulful. You know.
Danceable.
Maybe not necessarily danceable.
What would you like?
But more different type of rhythms instead of a da da maybe da chicka da chicka or something like that. More rhythmy thing, I think maybe. Some not all of it, maybe like half, you know.
Will still be stuff you can bang your head to?
Oh yeah, definitely. It'll still be quite right sound, definitely. Yeah. It's we'll just. I think it's more. What would you say, like soulful type of a sound, like old Bad Company or something like that.
I see.
Where, you know,
more R&B.
Yeah, we like that kind of sound. We've always have.
Okay. 基本的に変わらないけどね。まあなんていうのかな。まだヘッドバンギングをできるような音なんだけども。よりなんていうかバッドカンパニーみたいにこう R&B 的な要素をもうちょっと取り入れてよりソウルフルなリズムを作りたいと思ってるけどね。
プロデューサーは変わるわけ
How about the producer?
Same producer, probably the same studio.
いや変わんない。
周りの連中から聞いてみるとあんまり合ってないんじゃないかってよく言うんだけど、自分たちはじゃあそんなことないわけだ。
他のメンバーと
いや他の、同じように LA メタルにいる連中がね他のミュージシャンは合ってないんじゃないかっていうふうに言うんだけど彼らと、スティーブ、プロファッツだけだ
そのプロデューサーYou don't really see like him very much so like the what's the name of the guy?
Spencer Proffer.
Or like the other metal acts in LA.
Do I see them?
Yeah.
Yeah, once. As a matter of fact, I just talked to Robin Crosby of Riot. He called me right before we left for here. He called me from Hawaii because he heard they were playing and he was in there vacation. He was going to come down to the show. He never made it. We're friends with a few of the bands in LA, but I had really things were never home while I was touring, and they're off too. You know,
yeah.
So only once in a while when they're home and I'm home, we might get together and go have a drink somewhere like at a club in LA or something like that.
何しろあんまりロスにいないからね。もうほとんどもう年中ツアーに出てるから、まあそういう連中とはまあ会うことはまずない。
じゃあ特別変えてみたいっていう気持ちのないわけだプロデューサーを。
You have no intention of like changing producers at all, though you wouldn't.
Not that I foresee in the near future.
Why is that?
He's good for our band. He's got some good input on our music, and he's got a lot of good ideas to make the sound sellable. And that's what a producer's for, you know. You get the actors, and you get a producer to make the movie good, you know. And we're like the actors, and he makes us good.
彼はそのスペンサー・プロファーだっけ？実に彼の音楽よく分かってるし、それにその売れる音を作れる人だからね。でそのためにプロデューサーを起用するから、だからその役割をもう十二分果たしてくれる人だから。
Yeah, he has a way to bring the best out of each one of us, you know.
その最大の効果をバンドのメンバーから引き出せる役割を果たせる人だから。
LA のメタル系のバンドからいっぱい今ヒット出してるわけだけど、なんか彼ら自分たち以外に気に入ってるレコードってある？
How about among the other like LA metal bands? Do you have any ones you're fond of, or any records that they've come out with that you're fond of?
LA heavy metal bands? Yeah. No, I really don't listen to any other LA metal bands. I'm aware of their music and what they're doing, but to tell you the truth, the only really metal bands I really like are Judas Priest and AC/DC. I like mainly when I'm at home I don't listen to that much metal. I listen to it, but not a lot. Only when I'm driving my car. When I'm sitting around at home, I like to listen to more softer stuff like Culture Club, Spandau Ballet, classical music. I like a little bit of Duran Duran. I like, and let me see. I like Chicago a lot. I love Chicago.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's weird. People think I like, oh, don't get me wrong, I love heavy metal, but maybe because I do it for a living, I get tired of hearing nothing but metal. Like, I was, a friend of mine, David Coverdale, of Whitesnake, he's the same way. I was talking to him one night, and he showed me his record collection. He goes, yeah, to break up the monotony of metal all the time, you know. Because I think if you listen to other styles of music, it varies your style of writing, and you get more influence from other inputs or other other styles.
Perspective.
Yeah, right, exactly.
そのこと LA にはこだわってないわけだ。
全然こだわってない。
で LA からこう驚くようなギタリストがものすごくたくさん出てきたわけだけど、やっぱりああいう連中がみんな潜在してたわけかな、3、4年前ぐらいは。
You're getting all these flashy guitars coming out of LA, right now. Well, they've been around for the last 3-4 years and just been waiting for the chance.
Right.
And there still must be a lot of them now.
Yeah, I think LA is probably the biggest rock capital in America. Definitely is.
So what, all the hot guitar players from all over the states sort of flock to LA then?
Yeah, I think everybody does, because all the record companies are in LA.
Yeah.
You got Capitol, you got CBS, everybody is right in there. And so, actually that's the best advice for anybody who wants to try to make it in the music industry, is to move into the big city and rub elbows with the big people. That's what I did. Where I came from was Orange County, California,
sure.
which is, it's like kind of backwards. And me and my brother, we knew we'd have to move up there to make it. And so we moved up there and edged our way in there. Because they ain't gonna come to you. You got to go to them. But yeah, there's a lot of good people coming out of LA. There's a lot of good people everywhere, actually. But I think a lot of bands just get signed out of LA, so people think that's where they come from. But I think there's good guitar players everywhere.
But you're an authentic LA band, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
まあ一応アメリカではロサンゼルスっていうのはヘビーメタルの都っていうかメッカっていうか、レコード会社はみんな集中してるし、だからスターになるにはやっぱりロサンゼルス経由じゃないとダメなわけで、彼は厳密に言えばロサンゼルスじゃなくてね、もうちょっと南のオレンジカウンティなんだけども、要するに一番最初はロサンゼルスに引っ越して兄か
そこから始まったみたいな。
そう
なんかそういう今 LA メタルで出てきてるギタリストでは誰か注目してる人いますか？
Anybody paying attention to among the hot guitarists working out in LA now?
That I like?
Yeah.
Yeah, who I really like, just really impressed me the most is Yngwie Malmsteen, the guitar player. He's very good, very good. That's basically about it. I like Van Halen. I like the guys in Rat are good. That's really about it. The rest of them I'm not really aware of. I mean, I know of them, but I'm not really into.
LA 近辺にはものすごくそういうメタルをプレイできるクラブって言ったらいいんですかっていうのは多いわけなんです。
There are a lot of outlets so you can play metal in LA.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of clubs. Yeah, you could actually I used to make a living just playing the clubs. Paying my apartment rent and just barely making ends meet. There's a lot of clubs, a lot of places. Yeah.
What kind of bands were you in when you were doing that?
I was in a band called Snow actually, which was right before I joined Kevin's band, The Bro, which was right before Quiet Riot. We used to play the club. So I was playing the club circuit since 1970, late '78.
Breaking the action here.
Yeah.
これがあるから大丈夫ですか？
そうですね。
あとちょっと
そうですね。
じゃあ僕たちは直接あんまり行ったことないからよくわかんないけど、それじゃあ今例えばツイステッドシスターとかワスプとかラットとかたくさん出てきてますよね。そういう連中とみんな知り合いってわけでもないんだ。
But it's not like you know everybody. Like say you don't know maybe the Twisted Sister or maybe
Yeah, I
you
don't know them.
Wasp.
I know Wasp. Yeah, they're good friends of mine. Yeah, Wasp are close friends of mine. As a matter of fact, they did a little tour with us. We did a New Year's Eve run from December 26th to the 31st, and they were opening up. They're real nice people, Wasp. They look crazy, but they're really actually nice, very nice. The guitar player, Chris Holmes, I've known him for like 10, 12 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, long time.
Must have been diapers.
Oh yeah. And we've always helped each other, all along the way. And Blackie, we've known him for a long time. And the original drummer, I guess they just changed drummers. Tony Richards used to play drums. I used to be in a band with him.
Yeah, incestuous.
For a few months, we were in this band recording together.
ワスプのクリス・ホームズはエディ・バンヘイレンと学校がクラスメイトだったって話だけど。
He hears he went to the same school as Eddie Van Halen, Chris Holmes.
Oh yeah.
じゃあカルロスもエディのことはそれ昔から知ってるの？
So you know Eddie Van Halen from way back?
Me?
Yeah.
I've known him. Yeah, I know him and Alex pretty good. The other two I don't know at all really. I just last time I saw them was the beginning of '84, January. I was coming out of a record store and they were going into a movie theater and near where I live in Studio City.
バンヘイレン兄弟はよく知ってるけどね、その他のメンバーはよく知らないけども。
一応サードアルバムっていうのはいつ頃発売する予定でいるんですか？
When do you plan on having the third album out by?
I think we're going to take a break after this Japanese tour. We're going to take basically the rest of this year off. And we'll probably record the album and end this year, but we won't release till '86, beginning of '86, and then start the tour February, March of '86.
But wait, take the rest of the year off. I mean, you're going to be done with this at the end of January.
Yeah. We end here and we go back home for 1.5 days, and we go to Venezuela for 3 days. We're doing 3 shows in Venezuela, Caracas.
It's not very common, is it?
Oh no, not at all. That's one thing weird about Quiet Riot. We play places that no bands have played. We played Puerto Rico.
Is that right?
Yeah, we played Guam. We just came from Guam, which we're the first heavy metal band to play there.
Is that right?
Yeah, we sold the place out. Some big University of Guam center. Just great, crazy concert. Only the other bands that have been there is Flock of Seagulls and In Excess. And us.
Is that right?
So maybe we'll break the ice for other metal bands to go there, because we had the offer to play there, so we thought we'd stop there on the way to Japan. Just on the way, a little bit out of the way, but not much. So it's good for other parts of the world, like small parts like Puerto Rico or Guam. We played some other weird places. I can't think of it now, but it's good. They should get rock. There's a lot of kids there like to hear rock.
A lot of Americans there.
Yeah,
American kids.
definitely. Yeah. So maybe we'll break the ice and more bands will start going there now.
この日本のツアーの後にアメリカに帰って、それでベネズエラに行くんだけど、随分変わったところに行くな。それがそのバンドのポリシーっていうか、その要するに他のバンドやらないようなところをどんどんやりたい。プエルトリコもやったし、ガムもやったし、そういうところでどんどんやっていきたいんだけども、でその後ずっと休んで、それで3枚目のレコードは大体来年あたりじゃないか。
They're really starved for rock there, too. They're really appreciative of it. And to all the bands that go there, they're going to have a good time. So I had a great time. Nice people and a lot of fun. Good-looking girls. It's great.
そういう歴史でやると、大体そのなんていうの、ロックに植えてるっていうか、非常にありがたいわけ、向こうが。
やっぱ2枚のアルバムであんなに成功しちゃうと、やっぱりサードアルバムにかけるエネルギーっていうのはかなり消耗しちゃいますから。
You've had so much success with the first 2 albums that the pressure and the expectations for the third album must be pretty heavy.
Yeah, but just like when we went in to do the second album, we didn't go in there with the attitude like, oh, Metal Health sold 5-6 million copies, we're big rock stars now, we're going to just, we just went into the attitude like we're still a young band, we went into the same attitude as we did to the first album. That's all we did. And I think we'll do the same to the third, even though we've had success, you can't think of it that way. We're still a rock band. We're going to go and record the best we can and record the best music we can. And that's the attitude we like to have.
別に例えばね、その1枚目が500か600枚ぐらい売れたけども、だからってもう俺たちビッグロックスターだからって言ってね、そんななんていうのかな、そのノリでね2枚目を作ったわけじゃない。その初心を忘れずにね作ったつもりでいるし、で3枚目はやはりその初心は忘れないまんまで作るつもりでいるから。
じゃあこんなところで。
Alright, that'll do it then.
Okay, thank you.
I guess we'll do a few pictures.
Okay.
By the way, I'm going to be doing an interview, the interpreting for the next one as well.
Okay.
So I'll be here for a while.
Do you work for the magazines or just?
I'm just freelancer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this for the magazine?
To the reader, so we have some magazine.
Of Young Guitar?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have these? Oh, I'm good friends with John.
これもらっていいのかな
My
Yeah,
band?
sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I should go ahead.
Do I get to be on the cover?
I don't know. 表紙にしてくれんの表紙出してくるの
じゃあギター持ったわけや。ギター持ってないで。
You gotta have your guitar with you. So.
I do have.
They might consider it then, I suppose.